Before we start anything, I just have to show you this. Okay, so you know that scene in the trailer of Shazam where he's on the train and you hear the voice saying, Billy Batson, I choose you as champion? You know how the train, the stop signs, which they show in the red text, they start to form symbols? Okay, so this happened on my train a few days before I saw the film. Does that mean I'm Shazam now? When I just don't know it? Should know it, probably. Anyway, on to the review. Shazam is the latest film in the DC cinematic universe, hot on the heels of their most popular movie, Aquaman, so far, which was a surprise. If you told someone 3 years ago that Aquaman would be the most successful DC cinematic universe movie ever, who would have believed you? And it did. It was successful and was awesome. And if you haven't seen it yet on home video release, check it out. It's in the IMAX thing. It's amazing. But enough about that movie. Let's talk about this movie, which I have been very excited about ever since I saw the first preview of it at Comic-Con last year. And here we have the story of Billy Batson, a kid who is consistently running away from foster homes he's put into. He doesn't like to live in this family kind of community and he wants to be alone. But the law finally catches up to him and says, you gotta give this place a last chance, otherwise it's gonna be trouble for you. So he goes into this one house and he's trying to get along. He has a roommate named Freddy, played by Jack Dylan Grazer, who you may know from It. And they're trying to connect, but there seems to be some sort of disconnect. One day when Freddy is getting bullied, however, Billy intervenes, and when he's getting chased, he manages to get away. But as he does so, he hears a voice say, Billy Batson, and he finds this wizard named Shazam who basically tells him that I've chosen you as a champion and I want you to take my powers and basically become a hero to the people and, say my name so my powers may flow through you. And he becomes this superhero of sorts and a much older body played by Zachary Levi. And I can't really go more into it because the trailers stop right about there. You get some funny antics with Billy Batson and Freddie Freeman. But the trailers are very good at hiding a lot of details. So I'm gonna keep that going in this review because much of the film's plot is not told, which made the film a big surprise for me through and through. I was a big fan of this movie, and if you've seen the overwhelming praise from the reactions so far on Twitter and other social media, you know how good this movie is. I really enjoyed this movie from start to finish. This was a film that could have been just a very simple comedy of sorts with this guy who doesn't really know how to be a superhero being taught by this unlikely roommate of his new friend to be one. But it's also a very deep, emotionally resonant movie about Billy Batson, about where he's ended up and all of the things that have happened. And it's a great character study in that way. You really get a proper hero's journey in this movie about how he goes from someone who's kind of clueless about how to be a superhero to understanding the responsibility of being a superhero. And it does that with the help of a lot of comedy, but it also does that with just a lot of heart put into it. His relationship with Freddy as a friend is one of my favorite aspects of the film. Their dialogue is seamless. I could just watch an entire movie of that. There's other stuff that happens in this movie, of course, but if you just made a 2-hour movie where it's just the two of them sitting next to each other and talking, I would pay full price to see that film. And Zachary Levi, much like Gal Gadot in Wonder Woman, he's kind of born to play this role. He just brings this level of humanity to the entire film that I was a huge fan of, and I can't wait to see what else he does as this character. The film is also very meta. It references a lot of things in the DC universe. It showcases how superheroes become these kind of, products and the stuff surrounding them. In Freddy's room, for instance, there's a batarang on his desk. He has a bullet that bounced off of Superman as, with a certificate of authenticity on it. And on his shelf, there's Wonder Woman action figure and a Superman action figure. Throughout the film, he wears t-shirts which may have the Aquaman logo on it, which I think is in the trailer, and a Superman logo on one of them. And it's just really cool that they decided to do that. So they're making that running commentary go on in the background while also giving you this, this origin story on its own accord. There's even a scene where Shazam is fighting the villain of the film, Dr. Sivana, in a toy store, and he throws a Batman toy at him. I love that. I mean, that's really great. They don't try to make this a focus, however. This is in the background. It's like, just so you know, this is the world we're living in. But I keep coming back to the emotional core of this movie, which is just so beautifully done. There's actually a few tearjerker moments in this movie that I did not expect. There's a few sequences which genuinely do make you feel really, really emotional about things. One of my favorite things about Wonder Woman, and I keep going back to that for a reason, because this film for me is neck and neck with that film, which is fantastic because I love that movie. When people ask me about my favorite scene in that movie, it's the scene where Diana and Steve are dancing and the snow is falling, and she's talking to him about life beyond the war. It's a great scene, and it's so wonderfully done, and it's this human moment that's put in there right after this gigantic action scene, and it gives you time to breathe before the big third act finale starts. I thought that was such a smart move and so well written, and very similarly, there's scenes like that throughout the entire film where you take a moment to actually breathe before you go into something else which is action packed or very tense. And I was a big fan of that. I can't really go into details about what the scene is because, spoilers. The direction by David F. Sandberg is beautiful. It's very well done, very confident filmmaking. It's very well written. The musical score is another thing I want to talk about, which I was a big fan of. It's very similar to John Williams' Superman score in how it resonates. It's not like it's copied off of that work, but there's a similar feel to it that I really loved. It's kind of genius, actually. I only really have one issue with the entire film, and that is the villain of the movie, to an extent. I don't mind Mark Strong as the villain. I think he's done a great job. It's some of the writing for him could have been a little stronger. This happens sometimes where you're so focused on telling this hero story, which is essentially what it is. And sometimes you just get lost in oh, we forgot a few details about that character. Maybe we should have done a little bit more on that. But aside from that, they did a pretty good job with him. I just think that he could have been written a little more strongly. I didn't think his motivations were totally the best. And some of the actions that he actually took as well at some points were just a little, I get why you're angry, I get what's going on here, but I don't know. I feel like either I've seen this before, some things, like there's so much uniqueness to this movie that certain parts of his entire arc felt a little similar. But overall, the film still is a blast, despite the fact that that one little thing kind of bugged me. I don't know if that'll be the case for everybody, but this is still arguably the best film in the DC Cinematic Universe so far. It's at least neck and neck with Wonder Woman, and I can't wait for more people to see it. I saw this very early, actually. In fact, at the time I'm filming this, the embargo isn't even up. So I still have to, I think, wait a week for the embargo to lift so I can give you my review of this movie until you can see this review of the movie. So this is from the past. Hi. But when you guys do go see it, I hope you guys enjoy it. If you guys are seeing it tonight at the early Fandango screenings, I hope you have fun with it. But yeah, that's about it on my review of this film. I'm gonna give Shazam a 9 out of 10. Guys, thank you very much for watching. Look forward to more reviews very soon. As always, if you like this, please just subscribe, and I'll see you guys at the movies.